My name is Terry Jervis. I guess by trade I'm a producer and director. I'm a former BBC executive. I ran a division of Motown as well. Over the years I've been very much involved in business and entrepreneurship, in technology and video games, and music, record business, and film and television. Ultimately, I think since I've been involved in the business of media, I don't think that things change in the sense that everybody loves stories. And being in this business, you're a storyteller, and the human spirit loves new stories. I think what's changed is, when societies change, there are more cultural mixes in the environment, and so you get better representation, actually means better product. Because there's lots of ideas coming into how things get made. But unfortunately, I don't think that it's really accelerated as well as it should have done. And I think that particularly if I speak from a black person's point of view, is that, when you talk about diversity, when black people excel, believe it or not, everybody excels, because black people over history has shaped the kind of civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, human rights agenda. And I think most people don't think about that because they're the beneficiaries of that. But actually, people who benefit the least are mainly black people. Representing black voices in film and TV is absolutely important, because the main thing is, let's look at TV under normal circumstances. You see black children crying, black children wanting water, black children with glaucoma, black children suffering, and also other people of color in the kind of wider diaspora, such as Asia and so on. But ultimately, pretty much most people, if they're really honest, and I'm talking about non-black people, they never face the truth about what their own cultures and their own societies think of us. Okay? So the fact that we are represented actually elevates them. It elevates their thinking and their awareness and their understanding. But also, remember, we are the shapers of global culture, right? We actually are the human heart of humanity because of the things we've been through. And therefore, I think it's important that that is reflected in all our conditions. So I'm not just saying, the poor and the needy, I'm saying, what about us in the present and the future? George Floyd was in the present, let's not forget that. But the way he was treated was archaic, of something of our past. And how it has been dealt with doesn't present a very healthy future for us. So the question shouldn't be to me, it should be to those who are the controllers of media, politics, and big business, about when they say they want real diversity, how conscious are they of really wanting that change? And do they realize how financially, educationally, and also in terms of the environment, beneficial that is? Well, you ask me, it's not only about black people and ethnic minorities and what I think the change could be. Well, every culture has its own struggle, right? But I'm pretty cognizant and aware of all the struggles of people around the planet. But as a black person, I think it's important that I am, because other people may share in the same struggles as I have done. I think that it's not for any one person to say how the change is going to be. I can only talk from my perspective. But I know that my perspective embraces more than just, in quotes, people of my color. If I benefit, the rest of humanity benefits. So for instance, when I ran departments at the BBC, wherever I have been, and people know it in the science community, in politics, in sport, in television, in film, and in music, wherever I have been, there is a purpose to why I produce things. And there's things I will not do that denigrate people. The advice I'd give to young people who are trying to get into film and TV is, first of all, start from your hobby and your passion. You know, what's the story you want to tell? Or if you're a technician, why do you want to fix things? Why do you want to make it better? And practice that. And also, you see, a lot of people come at the media, and if I dare say, a lot of young people think, you know, because I've had these questions, you know, how much money do you earn? You know, have you met all the stars? This, that, and the other. And I say, yeah, but you know what? All of that has happened. Look, I'm in my dream job. I've lived every dream I dreamt of as a kid and more. And that's possible because of media. But that wasn't what I set out to do. I set out to just tell stories, human stories and fantasy stories. You know, I wanted my creative side of my mind to go into outer space, to go back into the past, and also to deal with human issues. You know, when I was growing up, it was a civil rights movement, it was a women's movement, it was apartheid in South Africa, then it was poll tax here, going to war, and so many things that became part of the political agenda, and you have to address that. But also, you know, I'm as serious about knife crime and gun crime and drugs. And now we're dealing with a pandemic, depression, suicides, alcoholism, domestic abuse, all these things. And, you know, let's not forget that we talk about what's happening kind of in the adult world, but we very really talk about what's happening to the young minds. And so when you talk about media and aspiration and music, music can be a force for change. TV, film can be a force for change, of influence. I'm not saying you have to be heavily political, but these are stories that we tell so we can raise aspirations. But there are also stories we need to tell that reflect what's happening in wider society. So many, but I remember one that stuck with me for a long time when I was filming in Los Angeles with the rapper Ice-T, and it was around the time of a movie called Colors, which was about gang wars, the Crips and the Bloods. And I'd been sent there in a limo. It was one of my first times in Los Angeles, and I saw a real crossfire gun shootout. And a lady heard my voice, and she knew I was English, British. And she threw the baby to me and said, "Take my baby to safety." I could only take the baby and drop the baby off a police station. That was in like the mid-80s. And here I am looking at things that disturb me, where, you know, a young woman who led the Black Lives Matter movement here in the UK gets caught in crossfire and shot in the head. I want to say to young people that I had options. I grew up in Hackney. I grew up knowing what it's like to not have food that you wanted every day. I grew up knowing that I had to fight every day with National Front, Teddy Boys, Skinheads, BNP, everybody that didn't want me in this country, that my parents fought for and came to rebuild. So in my head, I have every right to this country because my ancestors built it. So nobody can challenge me. And I'm saying to young people that my option was I went out and I started to buy, sell and read comic books. And you may laugh, but you all didn't laugh at Black Panther. You all didn't laugh at the Avengers. And that's how I made my money, buying and selling comic books. I ended up working with Marvel, the BBC, the whole lot. That's how I bought my first film camera, with comic books. And I made a movie, went to America, met all the stars. Not because I wanted to chase money, but I just had a dream and a story to tell. And I loved adventure. And my heroes lived in those comic books. They could change the course of history, whether it was Wonder Woman or Superman or Black Panther, Luke Cage, Black Lightning, Spider-Man. Heroes don't come in a color. Heroes come in something they stand for. And every one of you young people can be a hero if you stand for something. And when you stand for something, your life changes. One day I'll start an academy with Inside Success and people like you, so that you can stand up as heroes and make a difference. When you ask me what my successful habits are, I'm probably doing them and I don't even know. But you know what? Here's something. So two of my great mentors, one's Colin Adams, who was a former head of network television for BBC Birmingham and then at BBC Central, and Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather on Netflix, who, you know, they're both my friends to this day. We've known each other for 30 years, and we talk every week, sometimes twice a week. And one of the things I learned from my elders like them is that when somebody calls you, call them back. No matter what it is, whatever the challenge is, communication is a habitual part of my success. I like to communicate and understand that even in our differences, we can find resolution. In our aspirations, we can find common purpose. In our goals for success, we can actually trade and deal with each other. That's all down to communication. I think my greatest weakness is not necessarily a weakness, but I know that in business, people say you have to become like the Wolf of Wall Street, or you have to be hard and mean to get by. And, you know, that's just not me. So other business people might see that as a weakness, but then in a lot of ways I'm more successful than they are. And I would say that, you know, it's not my weakness, but it's what brings me inner peace. And inner peace ends up being my strength. So I can go to sleep at night and not worry about somebody knocking on my door in the morning or in the middle of the night. I can travel anywhere in the world and I know I have a friend. And so that's not a weakness, although I'm only using it because other people may think so. I see it as a strength. This is Terry Jervis, producer, director, business entrepreneur, and a keen supporter of Inside Success. Please subscribe to get to meet and talk to people like me and many others. But also it's about you. The most important thing about the subscription is you. You will learn so much and experience so much from Inside Success.